Belen, Marcela Belen. Es mi niña, nació el 2 de marzo.
My name is Marcela, and I am the mother of Belen. My child was born in 2009 by cesarean section. During my pregnancy, everything seemed normal, and an ultrasound showed no sign of congenital defect. It was a complete surprise that she was born with an anorectal malformation, as well as with other deformities, both external and internal. The doctors here in Nicaragua had never seen a child born with these deformities, only read about them in books. Belen had a duplication of her genital area and a double opening on the perineum. The doctors told me they needed to give her a colostomy in order for her to be able to eat, and they told me she might not even survive. I was sent home after 10 days and then went with her to La Mascota Children's Hospital, where I met Dr. Valle. He told me he had never seen such a case as this. After 21 days, the doctors operated to fuse her pelvis. In August, Dr. Valle informed me that he had contacted Hope Clinic International and Dr. Lely, who is my number one, well, number one after God, and was interested in Belen's situation. He said that Dr. Lely was a specialist in these types of cases and was coming to Nicaragua with the Hope Clinic team. Dr. Lely arrived in June 2010. Belen was 15 months old when Dr. Lely and his team did the operation. They reconstructed everything and made her normal. After the operation, Belen began walking at 17 months. My daughter is intelligent. She goes to school and doesn't have any other problems. God has given her to me, and He has a purpose for her, and He has sent me angels to help her. One of them is Dr. Valle, who has always been there for her and sees her for follow-up care.
I am Daniel, Belen's father. For me, the fact in spite of so much bad news, there are people that would come from the outside, or as my wife says, some angels that would come to take care of my child so she can have a better life. Just to think that she might have been bedridden with a colostomy. Her whole life would be terrible for me, but worse for her. The fact that Hope Clinic exists means for me that God is good and merciful. In spite of the fact we are sinners, God moves hearts of people like Dr. Lely and Dr. Valle. And it's not money that matters, but rather that the children are healthy and doing well. For me, Dr. Valle is not just a doctor. He's a friend.
Hope Clinic International is always in need of volunteers, both professionals and others who want to make a difference in their own lives and in the lives of children.
Just giving of yourself and seeing people giving of themselves for the less fortunate, if you will. You know, I mean, I think it's our duty to be able to help those who are less well off than ourselves.
I go back and people always ask me, why do you keep going? Because it's an important thing that I can give back to the community. You could give money, but I'd rather try and give them something a talent that I might have. And the fact that I can come and speak to them and embrace them and hold their children, that's personal for me.
So I've been involved with Hope Clinic for maybe 4 or 5 years, both involved with the medical and the surgical teams, and really just love the country and the people of Nicaragua.
We had a lot of patients yesterday, especially in the first half of the day. It takes a little getting used to, but I really love being here and I love our unity that we have as a team.
Yesterday we have a wonderful, wonderful team in the pharmacy. All of us are working together so well, and my highlight of yesterday was seeing my goddaughter Marcela.
You know, and a lot of what I was doing was behind the scenes. So I mean, I can only imagine that the people that were really conversing with the families and hearing what their difficulties were feeling. And, my emotion was high, and I just was back in the pharmacy filling drugs.
We are focusing on several chronic health conditions. Many of the children here, especially in Jinotega, where it's very, very dusty in the dry season, suffer from asthma. And that may go unrecognized or undertreated. They may get some care at the hospital, but then no care after that. And what we want to do is to use our model of care to educate those children and those families on how to properly control their asthma, but then also to have the ability for them to follow up and be recognized with community health workers, our own physicians at Tim's Clinic, so that they can be cared for on an ongoing basis. They can rely on Tim's Clinic to help re-educate them, but also to provide acute care if they're sick with their asthma, and if they get hospitalized, to be able to come back to Tim's Clinic for follow-up care.
I joined Hope Clinic because I want to help the children of Nicaragua and have my faith be a part of that work.
It has been so meaningful for me. It has really broadened my view of the world, and if anything, you think that you're coming to do a lot of work and it's going to be hard, but if anything, you come back from the trip feeling more refreshed and more renewed than you did when you first left.
I think one of the keys in life to happiness is what Pope John Paul II called the law of the gift. That is, if we are to want to be happy, then the key to that happiness is to give to others. And Hope Clinic makes that possible for me in this way to give, and I've received a whole lot more than I've ever given here, that's for sure.
The reason I come back, I found that it was a growthful experience for me. I think I've received more than what I gave, and you just fall in love with the people. It goes back to why I went into medicine to begin with.
There's something about being here in Nicaragua and seeing the beautiful people and the beautiful children that just gets in your heart. I am just absolutely in love with this country and these people, and so it's always such a blessing to come and to be here and to help in any way that we can.
It gives us opportunities to give back to this world.
We need you. Please join us.
Hope Clinic International is here to help meet those needs of children who just otherwise would never receive the care that they really desperately need.
Since 2001, Hope Clinic International has completed over 34 Nicaraguan missions with the assistance of over 500 volunteers and 12 surgical teams. For Hope Clinic International to succeed in its mission to restore hope and promote health, we need volunteers with a heart of love and an openness to receive and learn while serving alongside our Nicaraguan partners. Your support financially, as volunteers, or in the donation of equipment and supplies is critical for Hope Clinic International to make restorative healthcare not just a dream, but accessible to mothers and children we serve.